O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Stand up for your country. Extremely busy day today, so let's get right to it. This terrible drug scandal in the Bronx is the subject of this evening's Talking Points Memo. If you haven't heard about this, and you probably have, it's just unfathomable in the United States of America. So there's four babies, all right, in a daycare center in the Bronx, New York. And their parents are working people trying to earn a living to support the babies. All right, so the child care center, Divino Nino, divine child in Spanish, is also a drug distribution point for fentanyl. So the fentanyl gets in the air and kills 1-year-old Nicholas Dominici. All right, one of the cutest kids you've ever seen. He's dead. All right, another infant is in critical condition. And then an 8-month girl and another 2-year-old boy are in the hospital. So this is just a catastrophe, right? So the daycare owner, Gray Menendez de Ventura, 36 years old, and a tenant, Carlisto Brito, 41, been arrested on manslaughter charges and others. But the federal government is now charging them because the feds don't trust the state of New York to prosecute anything. So this is now a federal beef, again, because the New York DAs are derelict in their duty. And the feds know it. Even the Justice Department knows it. Okay, now, who is responsible? We Americans always don't want a blame game, but in this case, there is blame. Number one is the legislature in Albany that passed the insane no bail laws and don't want to punish heinous criminals. You sell someone poison, that should be a Class A felony all day long across the board. But no. Let me give you an unbelievable example because we've been following this story. It's a guy named Manuel Pagan. All right. On November 11th, 2022, almost a year ago, police arrested him with 20,000 fentanyl pills, enough to kill 20,000 people. The next day, Pagan was out on the street, no bail. 20,000 pills. Now, he pled it down. It's no longer a Class A felony, and he'll be sentenced next Wednesday. Or is it tomorrow? One of the two will be there. Okay? We will tell you, no, it's tomorrow, 9 a.m., he's going to be sentenced. We will tell you what Pagan gets. But the fact that he was out on the street less than 24 hours after the bust tells you the New York State legislature is corrupt. Kathy Hochul is the governor, doesn't care. Andrew Cuomo, the previous governor, signed the no bail law. Okay, all of them are responsible for the death of this 1-year-old and possibly another baby and the injuries to 2 others who will never be the same, by the way. Those kids are never going to be the same mentally. Okay, so then you have the community. Everybody knows where the dope is being cut, distributed, and sold in these urban neighborhoods. Everybody who lives near there knows it. Has there been any community outrage? Any demonstrations? Anything in the Bronx? No, nothing. Nothing. Communities, I understand they're afraid. I understand, but you get a couple of thousand people who demonstrate against this barbarity, and the ministers and priests and rabbis should be organizing it. The churches should be organizing it. Nothing. Nothing. Couldn't happen in my towns. There would be en masse demonstrations. People be out. Bronx, not a win. Nothing. You're responsible. Okay? Then the progressive attitude on drugs. Drug dealing, progressive left, they don't care. They don't care. Sell heroin, crack cocaine, fentanyl, whatever, poison across the board. They don't care. No bail, victimless crime. Obama started that, by the way. Obama himself started that. These are drug addicts. Oh, you feel sorry for them. Rehab, rehab, rehab. They don't want rehab, most of these people. They want to sell and take their drugs. Okay? And then finally, President Biden's responsible. Open border. Look at it. Listen to these stats. They're unbelievable. And he does nothing. Biden sits there and does nothing. All right, 2022, Border Patrol stats. 15,000 pounds of fentanyl seized. And you can imagine how much more got in. A record by far, so far this year. So far, the 17,600 pounds of fentanyl. So far, it's only September. What's Biden doing? Nothing. Doesn't care a whit about babies dying or anybody else dying from fentanyl. Doesn't care. And there's no reason why he can't write an executive order, okay, closing that border down right now, suspending all asylum claims for at least 6 months. He can do that right now. Nope, won't do it because he doesn't care. And that's what this is all about. So again, I want to see the 1-year-old who's dead. All right, one more time. This poor little boy, literally poor, okay? He was murdered by these fentanyl people. Nicholas Dominici, he was murdered by them, but it was enabled by the legislature and governor of New York and the president of the United States. And that is the truth. And all you people in the Bronx, you ought to be ashamed of yourself for allowing this stuff to go on. And you priests and rabbis and ministers, you cowards, what do? You're supposed to be community leaders. You never see that here in New York. That's a memo. So Biden goes to the UN this morning, gives a very boring speech. He got through it. He read the prompter. Okay, he got through it. I got 2 sound cuts. Rule number 1.
Like every nation in the world, the United States wants this war to end. No nation wants this war to end more than Ukraine. And we strongly support Ukraine in its efforts to bring about a diplomatic resolution that delivers just and lasting peace. But Russia alone bears responsibility for this war.
That's true. But I just thought of something, because what's sticking in my craw about all this Ukraine stuff is that we're sending billions of dollars of our tax money over there. There's no audit. And you know, and I know that some of it's being stolen. Okay, Zelensky fired his defense minister. What do you think he did that for? So there ought to be a NATO auditing team in Kyiv watching the money that comes in from the USA and Western Europe to see it's going to the right place. Biden never do that. I mean, he'll never call for that. He doesn't even think about things like that. But that just came to me. But he's right. Russia alone bears responsibility for this. Now, the second one is the only time Joe really perked up. Climate change. Go.
We see it everywhere. Record-breaking heat waves in the United States and China. Wildfires ravaging North America and Southern Europe. A 5th year of drought in the Horn of Africa. Tragic flooding in Libya. This year, the world's on track to meet the climate finance pledge that made under the Paris Agreement. $100 billion to raise collectively. But we need more investment from public and private sector alike.
Yeah, $100 billion. Okay, so for what? What are you going to do with that? Okay, nobody knows. There's no supervision. This country now has passed $33 trillion in debt. Biden's running up more debt than any other president in the history of this nation. Okay? He doesn't, again, whether it's fentanyl, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's massive debt, doesn't care. He doesn't administrate. It's all verbiage. Okay? Now, the truth is that climate change is taking place. And for those of you who don't think it is, then you can't read the thermometer. It is. But you don't destroy economies on a theory. It's becoming quite clear that the electric car industry in the USA is going to fail because it's not convenient enough for working Americans. That's why. So develop the technology to make it easier to get an electric car, and you'll have a vibrant industry. But to just start cutting off fossil fuel, doing all this theoretical stuff, you're destroying and hurting working people all over the world. India's not going to cooperate, neither is China. Ever. Ever. Okay. Let's go into politics. Harvard poll, 2,103 registered voters, Democrat 37, Republican 36. We're very happy that this poll, all these polling outfits have changed under our withering criticism. We made a change. All right, it's a fair poll. If the election were held today between Trump and Biden, Trump wins 44-40. Okay, between DeSantis and Biden, Biden wins 42-38. Between Ramaswamy and Biden, Biden wins, but only by 2, which is in a margin of error, 39-37. Pence, Biden 42, Pence 36. Nikki Haley beats Biden 41-37. Tim Scott beats Biden 39-37. Okay, so that's the Harvard poll. They also asked a question in the impeachment inquiry, do you support it? 53% do, and 47% don't. Okay, this is the impeachment inquiry, which begins tomorrow in the House Oversight Committee. We're all over it. Second question, do you think Joe Biden helped his son Hunter get influence peddling contracts? Yes, 57, no, 43. Do you think Biden had direct and detailed knowledge of his son's business dealings? Yes, 60%, did not 40. Finally, do you think Biden made false or misleading statements? 60 yes, did not 40. So from this poll, 40% of Americans don't want to believe that Biden did anything wrong. It's not, they're not even looking at the facts and not looking at the evidence. They don't want to believe it. 40%. That'll drop down to 30, 35, I think. Okay, so the Republicans, the impeachment inquiry will be held next Thursday, not tomorrow. Not this Thursday. This Thursday is Merrick Garland. So I made a mistake. Trump is skipping debate 2 on September 27th. That's Wednesday. All right, he's not going. Hey, if you watch my program or have been paying attention at all since COVID, you are aware of the risks we all face to our supply chain, critical infrastructure, and the power grid. Cyber attacks, gunfire, pandemics, all on the table. What would your family do facing a months-long blackout? No electricity, no fridge, no phone, no respirator, and an empty grocery store. Well, 4 Patriots has a new solar-powered portable generator. It harnesses the power of the sun, can be moved around the house, and is used to power essentials in a time of crisis. So don't procrastinate on ensuring your family's well-being at a time they need it most. Please go to 4patriots.com today. Use my code NOSPIN for 10% off. That's the number 4, patriots.com. Again, use code NOSPIN for 10% off. Okay, let's go to the mail. Cecily Gold, Brazelton, Georgia. Hey, Bill, what's the point of the House pursuing an impeachment inquiry if nothing can come of it, if overwhelming hard evidence is presented that Biden is corrupt? The Senate and DOJ will not do anything, and the corporate media won't report it. Well, the corporate media has no choice because any kind of corruption evidence will get out there through the internet. So corporate media is negated. The point is that Americans should know the true character of their president. That's the point. Mark Walling, Louisville, Kentucky, confuses me. Is Biden intentionally setting out to destroy the country? Biden thinks he's helping the country. So you got to, Mark, put yourself in a position of the opposition. He firmly believes, that he's the greatest president, that he's doing so many good things by racking up all his spending and equity and all the climate change. He's a hero in his own mind. Dennis Colbert, Sacramento, California. Even if the Bidens refuse to provide bank records, could that information be provided by the bank itself? Only if there's a criminal charge against someone. The banks have to hand it over. Okay, there'll be subpoenaed. There's no criminal charge against Joe Biden. Hunter Biden, his bank records they could get, and they will. But the DOJ hasn't even asked for them. Merrick Garland doesn't care about them. But the House, they'll get them. Jim Ledbetter, Seattle. Many reports on folks who have been convicted of minor crimes on January 6th, but nothing about the appeals of those convictions to a higher court. That's because there is literally more than 1,000 prosecutions. Can't follow every case. I can. You assume somebody found guilty, their lawyers will appeal. But that process takes time. We can't track it. Ignacio DiDio, Springfield, Massachusetts. Mr. Reilly, I'm looking for an honest American history book that explains the reality of our great country. I need this for my daughter who attends private Catholic school. Okay, so I'm going to recommend A History of the American People by Paul Johnson. It's kind of dry, but it's pretty accurate. All right, so A History of the American People, Paul Johnson. Okay, I'm going to save killing the witches until the final thought because we got a lot of stuff going on that front. We will tell you that in the BillO'Reilly.com store, we got Fall Madness, Killing the Legends, Killing the Killers, your choice of any mug we have, and we have really good ones, $42.95. You can get the United States of Trump if you're really interested in learning about Donald Trump, who he is. That's the best book. And we'll give you one of our tremendous T-shirts, polo shirts, I should say, $49.95. Remember, gift giving coming up. But I want you to have that shirt for yourself. It's a fantastic shirt. New York State of Mind live show, Huntington, Long Island, Paramount Theater. They just put out first and second row seats that they didn't have, but now they do because so many people want to see the show. So you get real close. I'll wave to you. That is October 27th. Word of the day, no BalderDerdash when writing to me, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com, Bill at BillO'Reilly.com. Please listen. Name and town if you wish to opine. I get a lot of good letters, but no names and towns. We got to know you're a real person. Not tracking you, but name and town. All right, back with a final thought about killing the witches. Hey, if you watch my program, then you already know how much I love Holly the Terror Dog. I could never imagine the awful experiences some innocent pups have had, like being abandoned or not fed properly. Animal cruelty is horrific, despicable behavior, and sadly, there are sickos who do it. This is why I am eager to tell you about Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill, careful life sanctuary in the country. All of their 1,500 plus animals were abandoned, left for dead. I can assure you it is not cheap to rescue thousands of animals, and it's not inexpensive to feed them and provide them with love and comfort. This is why Delta Rescue needs our help. Please give what you can. Every dollar counts. Visit deltarescue.org, deltarescue.org. Find it in your heart to give today. Okay, Killing the Witch is out. 1 week from today, there is an excerpt posted on BillO'Reilly.com. So you can read a few pages of the book, and I guarantee this book will keep you up at night. Pretty scary. And there's witch hunts going on today, and I correlate it. Okay? There's a lot of stuff in this book that's going to surprise you. It goes from the Salem trials to the forging of our freedoms, because the Salem trials had a lot to do with freedom of religion and things like that. And then it goes into modern day witchcraft and demon possession and all of that. And then the witch hunts we have on the social front. That's all in this book. Now, tomorrow, I've got a major announcement that I'm going to make in the final thought that it's going to surprise you. A lot. Has to do with killing the witches, but it also has to do with an interview. Okay, so teasing it. I want you to be here tomorrow, of course. I want you to be here every day. But this is going to shake it up. You know how I like to do that. Vivek was a good guest, didn't you think? I mean, I think he's overly optimistic, as I made clear to him, but I appreciate him trying. I do. I appreciate RFK Jr. trying on the Democrat side. I don't buy into his conspiracies at all, but I appreciate him trying, right? So that's what makes our system vibrant. See, if they were in Russia, Putin would have both of them killed. But here this press smears them, but they're still breathing. Anyway, thank you for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We will see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching the No Spin News. To watch the full episode anytime on BillO'Reilly.com, please sign up to become a premium or concierge member. Visit BillO'Reilly.com to sign up and start watching today.